Now Dog the bounty hunter is broke, sick, and abandoned by his own family. After Beth died, the truth came out. His show was fake. His image was a lie. And the man who caught 10,000 criminals couldn't even pay his own bills. His daughter accused him of cheating. His son secretly recorded him using racial slurs, and then came the final blow. Doctors told him he was dying. This is what really happened to the man behind the sunglasses. Dwayne "Dog" Chapman was born on February 2, 1953 in Denver, Colorado. His father was a tough Korean War veteran turned bail bondsman. His mother was a devoted Sunday school teacher. It was a strange mix. Violence and religion under one roof. On the outside, the family looked like any other middle-class household, but behind closed doors, young Dwayne was living a nightmare. His father believed in discipline, but not the normal kind. He beat Dwayne with a wooden paddle hard enough to leave bruises and welts. Dwayne didn't cry. He wanted his dad's approval, no matter the cost. For years, he thought it was his fault. Only later did he realize the truth. It was never about him. That kind of pain doesn't just go away. It changes a kid. And Dwayne changed. By 15, he went it out. He joined the Devil's Disciples, a dangerous biker gang. Most teenagers worry about school or sports. Dwayne was learning how to survive among outlaws. In his first real test, he stood up to a biker twice his size. He didn't win the fight, but he earned respect. And with that, he became a full member. He didn't stop there. At 16, he challenged the gang's leadership. It was wild and reckless, but it worked. That showed fearless and maybe how desperate he had become. But chaos doesn't last forever. One day, Dwayne turned on his own mentor. He kicked the man in the chest and walked away from the gang. He was done with them, but not with trouble. From 17 to 23, Dwayne dove deeper into crime. Theft, drugs, the wrong crowd. It all became normal. He learned how to escape the law, how to disappear. These were skills used later, but not the way anyone expected. It was September 15, 1976. A night that changed Dwayne Chapman's life forever. His wife, LaFonda, begged him not to go out. She had a bad feeling, but Dwayne didn't listen. He went out anyway with 3 friends, Donald Quandall, Cheryl Pfizer, and Ruben Garza. They had a plan, a dangerous one. The 4 of them were going to rob a drug dealer named Jerry Oliver. He was 34 years old and known around Pampa, Texas for selling marijuana. That night, they drove to Oliver's house with weapons in the car. Dwayne stayed outside near the car with Cheryl and Ruben, but Donald went inside. Moments later, a gunshot rang out. Donald had fired a saw-off shotgun straight into Oliver's chest. He hit him under the arm. The group quickly ran, but it was too late. Oliver was still conscious when the police showed up. Before he died at 3:30 a.m., he told them exactly who was involved. Dwayne heard about it the next morning on the radio. They called it the Shotgun Slaying Massacre, and they were looking for him. Even though Dwayne never went inside, never pulled the trigger, Texas law didn't care. According to the law of parties, if you help plan a crime and someone else commits a murder during it, you can still be charged with murder, too. That's exactly what happened to Dwayne. The prosecutors said he brought a weapon. They said he gave Donald the shotgun cartridges. That was enough. He was found guilty along with Donald and Ruben. The jury didn't need much more, Dwayne later said. In Texas in the 70s, if you were there, you were guilty. In that one moment, one bad decision would follow him for the rest of his life. No matter what he did afterward, that past stuck to him like a shadow. He was sent to prison in Huntsville, 5 years. But he didn't serve the full sentence. He was out after 18 months. Still, those 18 months changed him more than anything else in his life. At first he was lost, he felt like a failure. He remembered asking God, "How can I change the world from in here?" He didn't get the answer right away. But slowly something shifted. He met a chaplain who told him his name. Dwayne was God spelled backwards. That same Chapman prayed for his bond to be lowered and somehow it was dropped the next day. It felt like more than coincidence. It made Dwayne start thinking maybe there was still a purpose for him. Maybe he wasn't finished yet. In prison, Dwayne got one off the best jobs. He became the warden's barber. That meant he was protected. Noon messed with the guy who cut Thornton's hair. He also helped other inmates as a counselor, listening to their problems and comforting them when they lost loved ones. But the biggest turning point came unexpectedly. On 8/8, another prisoner tried to run. Dwayne saw it happening and made a split-second choice. He tackled the guy before the guards could shoot him. That moment of instinct changed everything. A guard walked over and said, "Hook him up, bounty hunter." That one line stuck in Dwayne's head like a spark. That's it, he thought. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a bounty hunter. When he got out in February 1979, the first thing he did was go to the post office. He asked to see the list of top 10 wanted fugitives. "Hi, I'm a bounty hunter," he told the clerk. It wasn't a joke. He meant it. He even ordered a badge. And on it he engraved his prison number. That number was a reminder of where he came from and how far he planned to go. What made Dwayne "Dog" Chapman different from the start was that he truly understood how criminals think because he had once been one. That gave him a unique edge. He knew where fugitives might go, how they might hide, and what fear looked like. By 1979, he said there were only 2 full-time bounty hunters in America. Himself and a man named Papa Thorne. That gave Dog a chance to stand out. He wasn't just chasing people for money. He was building a second chance for himself, one that would soon turn into a full-blown empire. In the early 80s, he opened bail bonds in Honolulu. It wasn't just a bail business. It was the heart of his whole operation, the place where everything started. Tourists came just to see it. Fans loved it. For nearly 15 years, it wasn't just where he worked. It was part of who he was. Beth, his wife and business partner, helped run the place with him. She was bold, loud, and impossible to ignore with her towering blonde hair and sharp attitude, but what really made it special was that it felt like a family business. Their kids worked there. Even the grandkids got involved at times. Dog said they helped the state get back millions in bail money without charging taxpayers a single dollar. That small storefront in Honolulu eventually became the face of something much bigger, the Dog Chapman brand. But Dog had a problem. As a convicted felon, he couldn't carry guns. For a bounty hunter, that sounds like a career killer. But instead of quitting, Dog turned it into his greatest strength. He became a master at using non-lethal weapons, mostly tasers, and by his own count, he used them on more than 500 fugitives. He even got into legal trouble over one. Accused of flashing at us while filming a show. But what really set him apart wasn't the tools used. It was the way he talked to people. He didn't just arrest them. He talked them down. He scolded them like a disappointed father, then hugged them like a friend. Sometimes he made them cry. Sometimes he cried, too. It was raw, emotional, and real. And that's what made people watch. His weakness had become the thing that made him human and the thing that made him famous. As the years went on, his reputation grew. By the end of the 80s, Luster wasn't just on the run. He was running from justice after being found guilty on 86 counts of rape. Dog and his wife Beth barely saw each other during this time. He missed every holiday. They poured their money, time, and sanity into finding this man. Then one day, a tip came in. A man called saying he'd parted with Luster in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Dog knew he had to act fast. Dog flew straight to Mexico. He watched. He waited. And finally, just before dawn on June 18, 2003, he made his move. Luster was ordering tacos from a street cart when Dog and his team surrounded him. It was fast, chaotic, and messy. Witnesses said they saw the bounty hunters throw Luster to the ground and handcuff him while others filmed the whole thing. There was shouting, pepper spray, and confusion. Luster didn't even fight back much. He had changed his name, grown a beard, and was pretending to be someone else. But it didn't matter. Dog had him. But what looked like a clean takedown quickly spiraled into disaster. Locals thought they were watching a kidnapping. The police were called. Dog and his crew barely made it to the airport before they were stopped and arrested. Luster was also arrested. The problem: bounty hunting is illegal in Mexico. What Dog saw as a heroic capture, Mexican law saw as a crime. Suddenly, Dog, his brother, his son, and the rest of the crew were sitting in jail facing real prison time. They were charged with criminal association and kidnapping. And just like that, the hunter had become the hunted. The legal nightmare didn't end there. Even after they were released on bail, Dog and his team didn't show up for their court dates. Mexican authorities were furious. The district attorney even mocked the irony. They chase fugitives and then they become fugitives. For years, that one decision haunted Dog. He found himself in legal trouble again and again because of it. He also never paid the legal fees from that case. By 2021, court papers showed he owed almost $900,000. He had tried to sue his lawyer, lost, and then ignored the judgment. Eventually, legal action followed him back home to Hawaii. What's even more surprising is that all this chaos made Dog a star. The Wild Mexico mission landed him a spot on a show about unusual jobs that caught the attention of A&E. And soon after, Dog the Bounty Hunter was born. It aired in 2004 and turned into a massive hit. People loved the drama, the danger, and the strange charm of Dog himself. Ozzy Osbourne even did the theme song. The first episode drew over 3 million viewers, which was huge for A&E at the time. Before Dog, the network usually pulled in just 1 million or so. But this wasn't just a show about chasing criminals. It was about a rough man with a rough past trying to do something good, surrounded by his loud, chaotic, and oddly lovable family. Viewers were hooked. Each episode felt like a roller coaster. First, you'd see Dog and his crew, his wife Beth, sons, and teammates, hunting down bail jumpers in wild foot chases and intense standoffs. Then the scene would flip. One moment Dog was tackling a fugitive. The next he was sitting at the kitchen table giving his son advice about relationships. It was bounty hunting with heart. And somehow it worked. The mix of action and raw family emotion kept fans glued to the screen. But behind the cameras, things weren't always so balanced. In 2012, things blew up. A massive argument aired between Beth and Dog's sons, Dwayne Lee Jr. and Leland. It wasn't staged drama. It was real, messy family conflict spilling into millions of homes. Dwayne Jr. accused Beth of wanting to push him out, and Leland didn't hold back either. Both walked off the show. Fans were shocked, rumors spread like wildfire. Were they fired? Did Dog pick sides? Later, the family said the boys quit on their own, but the damage was done. For a while, the show just wasn't the same. In 2007, Dog the Bounty Hunter was one of the most popular faces on television. His reality show had turned him into a household name. But everything changed almost overnight. It wasn't an enemy or a rival who exposed him. It was his own son. Tucker Chapman secretly recorded a private phone call and sold it to the National Enquirer. In the call, Dog was heard using the N-word 6 times while ranting about Tucker's black girlfriend. His main concern wasn't about her. It was about how her presence might expose his use of racial slurs and get his show taken off the air. He tried to claim he wasn't racist, but the recording said otherwise. As soon as the audio went public, A&E didn't waste any time. Within days, they pulled the show from the air. Advertisers backed out. Civil rights groups started calling for the show to be canceled forever. It wasn't just the slur. It was the way Dog had built his image as someone who gave people second chances. Yet, here he was caught saying something ugly and unforgivable. His fans were stunned and his career was suddenly in free fall. Dog tried to apologize. He said he was ashamed that he used the word out of anger and that it wasn't about race. It was about her character. But then years later in 2021, he made things worse. During an interview, he said he though had a pass to use the slur because